So look to the signs of Allah's mercy, how He raises to life the earth after its death. He it is who will raise the dead to life, for He is powerful over all things. Which was the first of the two verses. They silenced the deniers of resurrection. Now, 9 or 10 years after those two impregnable bastions of belief in the resurrection of the dead, He bestowed with the present treatise a commentary on the second of the above two sublime verses. This ninth ray, then, consists of 9 elevated stations indicated by the above-mentioned verses and an important introduction. Introduction. This consists of 2 points comprising a concise explanation of one comprehensive result of the numerous spiritual benefits of belief in resurrection and of its vital consequences, a demonstration of how essential it is for human life and especially for the life of society, a summary of one universal proof out of numerous proofs of the tenet of belief in the resurrection, and a statement of how indubitable and self-evident is the tenet of belief. First point. We shall indicate as a measure only 4 out of hundreds of proofs that belief in the hereafter is fundamental to the life of society and to man's personal life, and is the basis of his happiness, prosperity and achievement. The first. It is only with the thought of paradise that children, who form almost half of mankind, can endure all the deaths around them, which appear to them to be grievous and frightening, and strengthen the morale of the weak and delicate beings. Through paradise they find hope in their vulnerable spirits, prone to weeping, and may live happily. For example, with the thought of paradise one may say, "My little brother or friend has died and become a bird in paradise. He is flying around paradise and living more happily than us." The frequent deaths before their unhappy eyes of other children like themselves or of grown-ups will otherwise destroy all their resistance and morale, making their subtle faculties like their spirits, hearts and minds weep in addition to their eyes. They will either decline utterly or become crazy, wretched animals. Second proof. It is only through the life of the hereafter that the elderly, who form half of mankind, can endure the proximity of the grave and be consoled at the thought that their lives, to which they are firmly attached, will soon become extinguished and their fine worlds come to an end. It is only at the hope of eternal life that they can respond to the grievous despair they feel in their emotional, childlike spirits at the thought of death. Those worthy, anxious fathers and mothers, so deserving of compassion and in need of tranquility and peace of mind, will otherwise feel a terrible spiritual turmoil and distress in their hearts, and this world will become a dark prison for them, and life even grievous torment. Third proof. It is only the thought of hellfire that checks the turbulent emotions of youth, the most vigorous element in the life of society, and their violent excesses, restraining them from aggression, oppression and destruction, and ensuring that the life of society continues tranquilly. If not for fear of hell, in accordance with the rule,
El-hukmu lil-galib.
Might is right. In pursuing their desires, those drunken youths would turn the worlds of the wretched, weak and powerless into hell, and elevated humanity into base animality. Fourth proof. The most comprehensive centre of man's worldly life and its mainspring and a paradise, refuge and fortress of worldly happiness is the life of the family. Everyone's home is a small world for him, and the life and happiness of his home and family are possible through genuine, earnest and loyal respect and true, tender and self-sacrificing compassion. This true respect and genuine kindness may be achieved with the idea of the members of the family having an everlasting companionship and friendship and togetherness, and their parental, filial, brotherly and friendly relations continuing for all eternity in a limitless life. And they're believing this. One says, for example, "My wife will be my constant companion in the everlasting world and eternal life." It does not matter if she is now old and ugly, for she will have an immortal beauty. He will tell himself that he will be as kind and as devoted as he can for the sake of that permanent companionship, and treat his elderly wife lovingly and kindly as though she was a beautiful houri. A companionship that was to end in eternal separation after an hour or two of brief apparent friendship would otherwise afford only superficial, temporary, feigned, animal-like feelings, and false compassion and artificial respect. As with animals, self-interest and other overpowering emotions would prevail over the respect and compassion, transforming that worldly paradise into hell. Thus, one of the hundreds of results of belief in resurrection is connected with the life of society. If a comparison is made between the above four proofs out of the hundreds of aspects and benefits of this single consequence and the rest, it will be understood that the realization of the truth of resurrection and its occurrence are as certain as the elevated reality of humanity and its universal need. It is clearer even than the evidence for the existence of food offered by the existence of need in man's stomach, and tells of its existence even more clearly. And it proves that if the consequences of the truth of resurrection were to quit humanity, whose nature is extremely significant, lofty and living, it would descend to being a corrupt corpse fed on by microbes. The sociologists, politicians and moralists who govern mankind are concerned with its social and moral questions, should be aware of this. How do they propose to fill this vacuum? With what can they cure these deep wounds?
سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم.
Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save that which you have taught us. Indeed, you are all-knowing, all-wise.